and welcome to another week in our garden. It's a little overcast sort of day, it's bitterly cold out, so we've decided to start in the top greenhouse that we've now opened up, and we brought all the geraniums, pelargoniums, ivy leaf and fuchsias and one or two other bits that we've overwintered, and then we was trying to get everything done in one greenhouse, but now we've got this one ready. I was able to bring all these up to the top, which is giving me some space at the bottom so I can get some more potting up done. We'll just show you what we brought. There's loads of plants. We've got some nice colour coming. We will take some of the flowers off, but I will get them watered and get them settled and give them some feed, and then get them really growing, ready for the season. Now, somebody's asked me how we hold the mesh on the fruit cage. Now, I still have the door or the gate to just put the mesh on, so we'll nip down and we'll do that now, and hopefully the sun will come out for us. Now we've come down to the fruit cage. This is the gate, and we've put the new wire on. I've actually cut it to size, and I've actually stapled the corner and the top just to hold it, because it's very springy. Once it's been on a roll, it will keep wanting to roll up again, so it's best to staple it so you can start. Now, what we do is bring it down nice and flat, trick stapler, and the staples are stainless steel so they won't go rusty. Right, we'll just pop one in the middle. It's just a case of pushing it to and then firing the staple in. There's a little trigger there that if the trigger's not pressed, then the staple won't fire, so you have to really press it together. I'll go down and do that bottom same way. Just keep it nice and straight and smooth, like that. Now that's got it held on nicely. Now we just need to put a few more staples in. Right, I'll start at the top and then I'll staple this side. Let's say a good 4 or 5 inches apart, because we are actually going to cover it as well. So we'll just like that. A bit more like that. There it is. That one's got one. That missed. And one right there in the bottom, I think. That's it. There we are, so that's got that nicely on. I'll do the other side the same, and across the top the same as well. So I'll do those, and then I'll show you the next step after we've done them. That's all stapled on nicely with those stainless steel staples, so they're not going to go rusty. Perfect. If you see any that are just sticking out a bit, just give them a little tap with your hammer before you start. But you'll find that when we put this wood on, it'll tighten it anyway. Now we put the wood on because, if you can imagine, that there now is, if you walk past it, it'll catch on your clothing, and if it catches on your skin, they're quite sharp. So what we like to do is put a piece of timber on it to cover all those edges so there's no sharps out, and we nail it on with galvanized nails. Again, must be galvanized. So I just start it off and then we'll just make sure it's in the right place. So it's covering that edge nicely, and then tap it in. That's that one. Now what to do is I put one at the top, one at the bottom, and then we just space the rest out. Again, make sure it's in the right place. Try to avoid the knots because they'll split this wood, it's only thin. And then what I do is I space them about the length of this small hammer, and then just put the next one in. Put them in the centre to keep it looking tidy as well. We'll do this line and then I'll do the other line. But if you just put that there and just put a mark, so about there. Again, the centres, so it looks tidy. Again, there. And this really tightens it up. And again, about there. One more. There it is. And on the last one, you just split the difference between the two, which is about there. And that's that side on. Now I'll do the other side and come back to you. That's both sides on, and then we just put this piece level with those two and nail that on. 3 nails would be plenty in there. Put one in here, not too near the edge, don't forget, because they will split. If you do the two, make sure it's level at the top so it looks better. There, I think. I'll put one at this end. Just start the nail off first, and then we'll get it at the right height, which is there. And one in about the centre, just to pin it all together. Just about there, I think. And that's got that nicely. Now I should do the same again in the centre and one at the bottom, and then we just need to put the fastener on to be able to close it. I'll get these 2 pieces on and the fastener, and I'll come back to you and show you how we've progressed. That's the door done. Made a nice neat job, and it flows through the lines of the fruit cage, so we're happy with that. It's got a good handle and a nice bolt. We've got the door on, but we've got no roof yet. We're going to do that next week, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on the weather. That would just be the net. Now the chickens are finished with it, we can stretch the net on and put these battens on, the same as what we've done to hold the mesh on, but what we do is screw them on, so when it comes to autumn we can just whip them off, undo the screws, take them off and pack the net away for winter, or until the chickens are locked down again next year, then they will want it as well. Now we'll just make our way down to the bottom greenhouse. It is bitterly cold, but I just want to show you how I'm progressing on the potato patches. Now these 4 quadrants are where we're going to put the potatoes this year. We've moved up one section up the garden. Now if you remember, I did save a little bit of manure, so I'm very limited on what I can do, but I'm spreading it on the top. The idea being that obviously we've had no rain for weeks and this is just bone dry, so we're spreading manure on the top. Then when it rains, if it rains, I shall dig it, and as I dig it I shall plant the potatoes in lines. So rather than digging trenches and then walking up and down, I should put the manure on top of these 4, space it out so what little I've got goes on these 4, and then dig the whole plot, and as I dig back I'll leave a line empty, plant the potatoes and then move on. Hopefully next week we'll be able to plant the potatoes. I just need some rain. We haven't had rain for weeks now and it really is drying out, and it's not so much the drying out because it's a heavy land. It sets solid, so we can't break the lumps down to crumbs to get a good planting. So we'll leave it till it rains, it'll be fine. If the worst comes to the worst, I'll put the irrigators on and we'll give it a good soaking through the hose pipe. Now the plum blossom is just beginning to come out now. Quite a bit is out actually. It smells absolutely beautiful, but I just hope we don't get nasty cold winds and frosts, else there'll be no plums this year. Come off the garden and we've come into the bottom greenhouse now. No heat obviously, only a little bit of sunshine when we get it that warms the walls, and then the walls radiate. But what I've done, because we're getting this icy cold wind, I've put some heavy duty fleece, as you can see, around the outside of the greenhouse, and that just keeps the cold wind from hitting the glass. Obviously the top is not done, but it just stops that little bit of cold wind hitting the glass. And as you can see, we're at 17.8 at the moment in the root zone, and that's holding fine. I think outside is just above 5 degrees Celsius, so there's quite a difference in the temperature. And we have the fan running that just circulates what bit of air we've got. I've been down this morning and I've done 2 trays of celery and a tray of beetroot. I've just potted them up and then we'll put covers on them. The spring onions have decided to show at last, so we'll bring them up, then we'll pop them in that cold frame outside, and then they can go straight in the line on the garden. I have a few peppers there. That was the second set actually, and they've done rather well, of yellow bell. and I think there's about 20 there. So I've done 20 pots, and I just want to pot those in while we're here, and then give them a little bit of water. The main thing at the moment is to keep the water the same temperature as the greenhouse. So I brought some water down this morning, and it's been sat in here trying to warm it up. If it's not warm enough, then I'll water these later, but they should be watered as you pot them, really. I'm just making a finger hole in the top. There's not a great importance on it. There you are, look. It just makes life easier if they've all got holes in it. Obviously we won't want that amount of yellow peppers. We only grow peppers in here, so there'll be far too many, so I will be giving a few away. Perhaps some will go to Gemma's. There you are. Good little plant. In it goes. And this compost has dried out a little in here, so it will have to be watered. If the water's a little cold, I have to be careful. Just shake them off. Now, I am not using the Q4 on these, because I actually put the Q4 into this before I put the seed in, so just trying it a different way, and they seem to have grown all right with it. There you go. We'll do this row and then I'll get them done. They won't be in here long, and they will stay in this greenhouse and finish in this greenhouse. So I'll finish them off and show you them done. Right, this is the last one in now. We'll just get him out. There he is. In he goes. And just tighten it down a little bit. And we'll get these watered. Really? Giving them a nice drink. The water had warmed up a little. Now, remember that this cold weather, although it feels bright in here and the temperature has actually gone up to 18, because we're getting some very cold days over the next day or so. Don't water too much, let them stand a bit dry, and then when the sun does come out again and the warm weather comes, we can increase the watering again. A little job for this afternoon will be that helichrysum, the straw flowers. They're all in these nice little cells, so I just pop those out this afternoon, and I think I'm going to pop those into the liners, the square liners like the onions, because they might get a bit too strong for a small cell. Remember that I put several seed into a cell, so there's several plants in there, so they need to go in a pot rather than a cell tray. They look well, and as I say, I shall pot them this afternoon. All the roots are down, as you can see, so they are really ready. And then on these trays, you just reverse the tray round, press it down, and all those there, like little thimbles, pop everything out. Believe it or not, the sun is coming out, but in the distance it's all black clouds. But that's Easter weather, isn't it? Now, have a nice break over the bank holiday. Hope the sun comes out for you wherever you are. And remember everyone, take care, and I'll see you next week. Bye now.